To start, your organization, you mentioned when we first talked, has had a few false starts with lean before finding traction. What did you think was missing in those early attempts?
Largely, I think it missed on two fundamentals. First, we didn't have a clear, simple vision of what good was supposed to look like operationally. Lean really felt like tools and events instead of direction of how we wanted to run the business every day. Second, we tried to improve processes that weren't stable yet. We hadn't built a culture around standards and daily accountability. So every gain that we made had the potential to have a really short half life. Once we refocused on standards and leader routines and mechanisms like layered process audits to lock in those basics, lean really stopped being an initiative and started becoming a part of our daily operating system.
Yeah, I see that a lot of times. I talk to a lot of people about their lean efforts, and a common failure mode is that idea of just bringing in somebody and say, "Oh, let's be lean. Let's go do 5S, and then let's start doing some kaizens." To your point, you really have to have a reason for that and understand your direction. Lean is not going to give you your direction. So when you are working on those attempts, did you go through was it an extensive training program where you came in and said, "Let's do lean." We bring in a consultant. Was it self-grown? How did those efforts proceed?
Early on in my time with the company, it definitely was consultant driven, less so internal. But with the new leadership in the manufacturing space, it's been more internal. My current boss, the vice president of manufacturing, brought in a continuous improvement director who he had worked with in the past. So much of our recent initiatives and improvement have been driven internally. And I think that's helped a lot as well.
Yeah, definitely. It makes a huge difference. I mean, that's actually when we're talking about operations science, one of the big benefits we see is, one of the things people say is, "Oh, I'm doing lean, but now I got to go do operations science." The idea with operations science is so people understand those concepts and they base their lean efforts, they ground it in the science. So it just makes them stronger. And then you have, as you mentioned, the internal efforts, which are so much stronger because the people who do the work know the work better, and you just get a lot better results. Definitely have seen that in my experience also. So how do you balance cost pressure with the need to invest in maintenance capability and technical skills?
That's a good question. I think really maintenance capability is more of a cost lever versus a cost center. Training and technical skills, or investment in those are pretty small when it compares to the costs of downtime, premature equipment failure, the cost of having to do capital replacements. But really, and probably more importantly, unreliable equipment creates variability in your process and in your flow, and that variability destroys it. So really, that flow is where your cost performance is coming from. Then you also got the people side of it. And I've found throughout my entire manufacturing career that when you invest in your maintenance technicians and their skill set and their knowledge base, they really develop an ownership of the equipment and take pride in the operation. And when they have that pride, it really drives loyalty, improves retention, helps them in developing care for the assets, which reinforces reliability. So really the investment pays off twice, both in performance and in culture.